everybody here tonight. It's good to see you again. It's been a couple months and we've been moving right along, haven't we? And you know, I had a dream last night too. And everybody, McCabe is starting to talk a lot, isn't he? And I think we're going to see a repeat of the 70s Mob Wars where he's turning everybody in, because he's not going to go down alone. And I think we're going to see that happen this year. But anyway, we need to get rolling because we're pressed for time, and I'd like to introduce Captain Matt Bruce to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Captain, thank you for that very much. And for the national anthem, we have our own Antonio coming up here. He's going to sing the national anthem for us tonight, and he's as close to Pavarotti as we're going to get.
Are you ready now?
You got it, buddy.
Oh, say can you see? Wait, this is the wrong one, I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought I had the right one on there. This is the right one, I apologize. I used to be a Democrat, you know. Here goes.
You got smart, right?
That's right. Well, until I couldn't stand it anymore. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red were the bombs bursting in air gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the great.
Unbelievable. God bless America. All right, at this time, we're going to give the microphone to our president of the Trump Club, James Stratton, to let everybody know what's going on. Give him a round of applause, everyone.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, everybody. And great Star Spangled Banner, of course. And I just want to thank everybody for participating in the sign and the flag waving rallies that we had here with Don and Penny the other day. It was really probably almost 100 people between Sam's Club down in Pinellas Park and courthouse in Clearwater. And it really was a good show. So if anybody hasn't seen the pictures yet, they're at the Tampa Bay Trump Club on Facebook. They're all posted there. I want to thank all our call captains and volunteers, and I'll kind of explain to everybody what that is. When you sign in, it's like an attendance list, but if you haven't given us all your information or you wrote it like a doctor, try to fill in the phone numbers and the names and the emails correctly. We're not going to bombard you with a bunch of emails, and we don't give the list to anybody. So what we do is we assign each person a call captain, and that one person is going to be pretty much your trunk club friend from now on. So all they're going to do is they're going to call you to let you know when we have meetings coming up. So, and that information doesn't go anywhere else. So make sure you get us good information, and you'll always be aware of what we have going on here. And Margot Gustafson is going to be leading our call captains. She's in the back corner here, going to be doing a couple things for us tonight. So thanks to everybody who wrote correctly, and for anybody that didn't and disguised it, please go ahead and correct it. Thanks to everybody for supporting President Trump and the children of the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch and the Eckerd Connects foster kids this year. You guys did a great job. We sent 3 at Christmas time. You guys brought in gifts, and we sent 3 jam-packed cars. 2 of them were Lincolns, full of presents at Christmas. So give yourself a hand. And we also raised a lot of money, and we're giving that to them in form of checks tonight. And I just want everybody to know that everything we've ever raised in this club, none of it goes to politics, none of it goes to anything, no administration. The only checks we've ever written out of our account are for those 2 organizations. And so feel free to be as generous as you want. We're not taking any of it, and it all goes to the kids. And they're going to be here tonight telling you what they do. Just want to thank Muggs also. They've given us this place. They don't charge us. So thank them for that. And Antonio does our sound and everything to make things go really well. Make sure you take care of your servers. They work real hard trying to make us happy and take care of us. One of the things we want to do is understand that one of our main purposes now is that it is no longer us versus Democrats. You might see Democrat leaders in Washington who call themselves Democrats, but it's really between us and the socialists, communists, progressive, that group. So we want to enlist as many Democrats as we can this year because they're our friends too. They just don't know what their leaders have done, and media is not helping us at all, so it's our job to do that. So one of the cool things we have tonight is Sully's up here, professional cameraman, give him a hand. He's going to be making sure we get this online so you can share this with all your friends. Okay, the liberals that are out there, it's not such a bad name. They have a lot of the same goals that we do. It's just the media deceives them, as do their leaders. And so, how did everybody like the stories that we heard in December from our Soviet nuclear scientist that spent 6.5 years in a gulag? Okay, these are real stories of real people. That's the people we have coming to talk to us tonight, the same thing. And Christopher Gertheisen, the young 16-year-old guy that was here telling us about how the kids are having trouble with the teachers in school and how he handled it. Everybody like him?
Yes, yes.
Okay, what I'm looking for too is if anybody here knows anybody that has a youngster, 16, 17, 15, I don't care what age, but if they're high schoolers that are willing to come up for 3 or 4 minutes and tell us the stories that they have with their teachers and how they handle their friends who just don't know what's going on, have them get in touch with me because we'd love to have them speak. We don't have one tonight, but I'd like to have one at every meeting come and tell us their story so we can see it from their perspective. So that young man went on to the Turning Point Conference and spent a weekend down in West Palm Beach with conservative leaders, so he did a great job. Now most people can't imagine how terrible things can get, as many of these socialist things happen in places that are really far from here. And we just never are taught that in our schools anymore. In fact, they hide it. The media hides it at every chance they can get. When the Soviet Union collapsed, the communists did not go away, and you're going to hear some stories today of how we can help by understanding the truth and history of what really happened. Last year at this time, December, a year ago, we had 218 members in the club. And today, we got to a point where we had 4,700 by Christmas time. Now, Facebook is doing its thing because they banished me in October, October 11th, the same day they took out 800 conservative groups across the country. They just banished me and my 5,000 friends. I lost all my connections to my family, everyone, because they don't like my views. They didn't even tell me why they did it, they just did it. So beware that that's one of the reasons I went to MeWe.com, and if you write that down, that's a great place to go because we can speak our mind. They don't censor. And it's not so much of a Gestapo type environment or a KGB environment. You can say what you want and pick your own friends. So if anybody wants to connect with me over there at MeWe.com or just continue to stay on Facebook, I don't have high hopes that they're not going to at some point ban the Tampa Bay Trump Club from Facebook for no reason. So that's why we have a backup at MeWe.com. To emphasize that it hasn't stopped, last month, remember I said we had 4,700 members. Facebook about 3 weeks ago took away 650 of our members saying they weren't active enough. All right? So everybody here stay active, otherwise somebody may take you away if the socialists take over. So anyway, we've grown back. We're up about 4,500. We've recovered over 400 new people. And we want to keep going, but we just need a lot of help with that. And just understand that Facebook is not the only place, and that I wish they'd spend more time working on the porn friends than they are worried about someone saying the word Muslim. Anyway, basically trolls that are on those places that turn people in for things, they're really no different than tools. They're useful idiots, willing dupes, and they're the people that, the rats that the Gestapo and the KGB used to use. So it's no different than that. Now we're going to have 2 short auctions tonight. One will be after our first speakers, and you can use cash. You can write a check to Tampa Bay Trump Club or to one of the organizations if you want to, or use our PayPal. Our PayPal account is at the identifier is tampabay.trumpclub@gmail.com, and there's no problem using that. We found the fees are a lot lower there than they are for a GoFundMe account, so we use GoFundMe. We have representatives of both the organizations who are going to tell us how to get rid of the thunder. Oh, the lightning, are they playing tonight? That's probably what it was. But anyway, we don't take a penny, be generous. We have representatives from both places tonight that are going to tell us how we can help out. In December, I went through a wish list, and that's for the campus of the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch in Safety Harbor. And they have 4 buildings there that have 10 kids in each one, and they need things to operate the buildings just like you would for your house. I'm going to be going over there in the next week or so to get a lot of specifications. So if you know any contractors or anybody willing to do work or any suppliers that are willing to donate things to help with what they do over there, just let us know, and you can give your name to Margot back there in the corner, and she'll collect your names, and we'll let you know what you can do to help out. So we're going to be loading the video to YouTube, and it's going to be real important because we can't have it on Facebook, since I can't even share to the 70 former Trump groups that I used to share with, because I can't access those groups because I'm a foreign entity to them now. So you can make up for it by sharing the YouTube video once it comes out, okay? Tonight, one thing that I noticed in our last video that we did, and just so everybody knows, the last full video we did when we didn't have some aberration that kept it from being put out, I thought when we first did these videos that we have 100 or so people here, we'd have another 100 or so people watch the videos. And just so you know, the last one we had out there before Facebook banned me, 7,000 people watched. All right, so it gets around. It needs your help. It needs everybody's help doing it. So one thing I did notice in it though was when the speakers are speaking, sometimes when we're talking in the audience, you can't really hear them, so it's not really respectful to the speaker. And the people that are going to be talking to us tonight might have some accents because they're not from here. So everybody try to be especially quiet so we can hear them and understand them, and then so that we can hear them on the videos when we do it. And John and Dee, you're here somewhere? Okay, John and Dee have a song that I think Antonio is going to be able to play for us during the break. It's the Build a Wall song that they wrote. So that'll come up at the break. Okay, and tonight all of our guest speakers are from different parts of the world, and they're sharing heartfelt stories so you can share them with others. And even though they're from different places, they have the same warning and the love of freedoms of America, and that they came here for, and they don't want to see us turn into what they left. They know the horrors of socialism, and we're seeing it played out right now in Venezuela. You can see tent cities in California, and this is probably the closest thing to home for a lot of us to understand. when you see those videos of a mile or two of tents, and you know that a lot of those are illegal immigrants, some of those are our own citizens too that are homeless, that are mixed in with that. But what you're seeing there in California especially, where they have the highest per capita income, is you got all these tent cities, miles and miles and thousands of people with nothing. It's starting to look like Venezuela, Haiti, and other places. And that's a perfect example to show you what socialism would do to this country within a matter of years if we don't stop it. So even though it seems like we're only 100 to 200 people here tonight, we can spread the word and pass the videos around and tell the stories and make sure that we don't have that happen to us, because we're going to have one heck of a time. Does everybody remember the 16 opponents that President Trump had when they started in the debates? Yeah. Okay. Even though we didn't support necessarily any of those or all of those, it was a pretty impressive group of people that got together, right? Yeah. And when you sat there and you listened to all the arguments that they had to make, at least they made some sense. This is going to be fun with the Democrats having fun. This is going to be a riot. So anyway, make sure your people know, your Democrat friends, we don't dislike Democrats. We want them to come join us to fight the socialists. So that's what we're here for, okay? So without going on anymore, a great example tonight of socialism and how it suppresses people, religion, freedoms, and everything else. One of our guests, Zelda from Venezuela, had a problem. Her son is in the immigration process from Venezuela, and she felt that if she got up in front of a camera, that they could see that in Venezuela and stop him from his immigration process where he's doing it legally. So we have her former teacher who taught her in Venezuela, and he taught there for many years, and he is actually running for Congress here against Charlie Crist again last time. His name is George Buck Jr., and he's going to be our first speaker. And I want everybody to support him if they can. And George is, has got a lot of experience that he's going to tell you about. He's going to tell you about his history in Venezuela and why we don't need to be fooled with socialism. And he's going to relate some of Zelda's stories since she can't do it. So anyway, George.
I'm wearing my different hat tonight. This is the field that I've been in for the last 25 years, is counterterrorism. As many of you know, I've written 6 books on preparing for biological terrorism and explosive terrorism and cyber terrorism. I started the National Terrorism Preparedness Institute at St. Pete College, and I was also the founder for the Center for Biological Terrorism Response at the University of South Florida, where I used to be a professor. The University of South Florida had a program where we were teaching students in Venezuela, and this was close to when Chavez was coming into power, so I got to see a little bit of freedom in Venezuela, and then over the next 10 years we saw how Chavez destroyed the country. And I'm still very, very much in touch with a lot of my students. Zaida was supposed to be here. She's just very nervous because of the government in Venezuela, which is a very shame. She came over to my house about 2 weeks ago, and I was helping her develop the speech, and I could see it in her face. She was petrified to come up to talk to us about what's going on in Venezuela. I also have a student who's been sending me, I have a ton of videos here of what's going on in Venezuela, and just indulge me for a few seconds. She sends voice messages. That doesn't work. And this is going to show you that our president.
Remember I mentioned to you I had a student that whenever I needed anything that he couldn't get here, he would go across the border to Colombia and bring back coffee, toothpaste, whatever I could need and afford to. He came back from Colombia yesterday, and he said that while he was on the border, returning from Colombia, he turned in his passport. He said there were 3 very big military-looking men because of the haircut and the body build. And he said people were commenting on as to what kind of food they had when they were children, because these men looked so so solid. And he noticed that they were from your country, and they had their passports, sort of like in cases where you couldn't just plain sight see where the passport was from. At one point he spoke to one of them, I don't know what they were asking about or so, and he spoke to them in his broken English, and the person just looked at him and didn't answer. Gives me the impression that they're probably sneaking into the country. He said, "Teacher, they were definitely from your country, and they were definitely in the line of Marines or something like that. So something must be going on. They must be coming in by different borders, which is what we would really be happy about. So let's hope it's so. Bye-bye."
Thank you, Donald Trump. It looks like we're going to have democracy in Venezuela. And I'm going to change a little bit I'm going to go into my professor mode. And I've been to 48 countries in the last 20 years. I've been in the Middle East numerous times. I've been on the Turkey-Syria border working some humanitarian operations. I've been to China 5 times, Ecuador, which is starting to go in a little bit of communism. And one of the things that socialism promises us, and also communism, they tell us that there's a utopia, and the government is going to be providing for us. People don't realize in the last 10 years, excluding the last 2, that we started to see this under the Obama administration. We started to see what was going on in socialism in the grip. So one of the things that we started looking at was, and I'm an analyst, so I start analyzing things, and obviously I don't have a life, so that's why I do this stuff. But one of the things is school lunches. Everybody talked about when Michelle Obama took over school lunches. That's control of food. And if you look what's going on in some of these countries, that's how the government rules it. You have, they're controlling your intake of calories. Because if you know any teachers, they were saying that these poor kids are starving now. And the same, thrown it away also, and the same calorie intake was for a 50-pound 9th grader compared to a linebacker who's a senior in high school. They just couldn't do it anymore. I knew teachers that were giving cookies just to help some of the kids get some calories into them. Some of the other things is urbanization. Remember how we started to urbanize everything? The rails, transportation. So if you look at Dictator 101, I used to teach, and I used to teach the ideology of national and international terrorism when I was at USF. And we talked about how things will control dictatorships, socialism, communism, it's all the same goal. The urbanization, they're looking to do more public transportation. Have we seen that lately? Public transportation, because that's how they control your movement in the country. We had a big decrease in the military. Thank God President Trump is starting to increase our military. Right? Yes, we could grow on that. Over those 8 years, we had a global standardization. There was supposed to be a big influence of the United Nations. When I was teaching at the University of South Florida, I actually went to some United Nations, and I was an instructor in peacekeeping. And you could see how you have anything? Oh, sorry. James is counting. Sorry. He looked like he was pointing. You could see what was going on with the globalization standards. We were losing our identity as Americans because we had to be globalization. And we all saw how that works. And we're the strongest economy in the world. Okay. Control of communications. What did Obama try to do? The internet. All right, he was starting to try to control that. So we're starting to get some of our freedoms back. And this is all with the ideology of the new globalization, the new world order, that we have to really be careful about. Restricting speech. Have we had our speech restricted recently? Political correctness. Right? Political correctness. Now, you're being punished for your ideology, sorry, and your thoughts. So we need to get back into the First Amendment, okay? True First Amendment. political good. Also, he also increased the welfare. What did we do with welfare? Okay, that was a dependency on the government. You had your food stamps, Medicare for all. So now you've got the left talking about what are we going to do with health care. So now they're going to control your intake of food, your communications, your transportations, and also your health. Because you're going to be subservient to the central government. And we have to be on our toes to defend this. Because I know when I went in the Army, I took an oath to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I still have not been relieved of that oath. And I think there's a lot of people in this room who have not been relieved of that oath. If you are a veteran, please applaud. Basically, in closing, get a little quote here. There is no room for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, except for the ones administrating the promise of utopia. We have to be on the guard, because there is no utopia. We have to make a free society like the American founders started in 1776. Anybody have questions? Like I said, I've written 6 books on terrorism. I've been all over the world. And, excuse me? If you're reading my books, you have no life. You can get them on Amazon. Preparing for Biological Terrorism is probably my biggest seller. It actually put my daughter through Canterbury with all the royalties. So keep on buying them wholesale. Yes.
I don't know, but his name is George.
Thank you. Yes, we're doing things different this time when I run against Charlie Crist. I've titled my new campaign as Non-Kinetic Warfare. Yes.
Are we watching the collapse of socialism in Central America?
Can you say that again?
Are we watching the collapse of socialism in Central America?
I think we're watching part of it, but it's always going to rear its big ugly head, because Cuba right now is petrified that Madeira is going to fall, because Cuba gets their oil from Venezuela. So you might see some military actions in other countries like we did in 1981 when we had the invasion of Grenada. You know, that was an expansion of Cuba. So that's something we have to look for in the Western Hemisphere.
Yes, sir. Do we know the percentage of terrorists that are slipping through the southern border last year, say?
If you know that number, please let me know, because I don't think we can identify it. I think they just sent, the Mexican government just sent 30 MS-13 people back to their home country in El Salvador. Yes?
They look at California, okay, and they look at getting our federal taxpayers dollars. If they were taking end up themselves, by themselves, with a debt running up, they could get out of Venezuela, despite all the wealth that they have.
You're exactly right. They could become a Venezuela. Look what's going on in California. I mean, they want to tear down the existing wall over the San Diego area. They also want to have free health care for all, free college for all. Do you know that only 75% of the American population does not go to college? However, the socialists want us to fund 25% of people going to college, because we need welders, we need plumbers, we need people addicted to ditches to pick up the trash. Yes?
I want to know your opinion. What is your opinion of the Mexican government? I don't view the Mexican people as an enemy, but I certainly view their government as a long-term enemy and threat. What say you?
My personal opinion is I agree, because they're not stopping the people at their southern border. That has to be challenged. Also, my personal opinion is Trump needs to cut off funding to Honduras, El Salvador, Ecuador, those countries. Say, gee, you control your population inside your country, we're not giving you any more money. And what irks me the most in the Middle East and South America is that these people that are coming, they are military age. Why can't they stand there and defend their country? Because I defended my country. Any other ones? Thank you so much. I'll definitely be seeing you over the next 2 weeks.
George, thank you. Anyway, before I announce who's coming up next, how does everybody think about our new governor? Is doing a good job or what? Are there any complaints? Are there any complaints here about him? Come on, we gotta have one because his dad's here. We want to be able to relay a message back. Ron, stand up and take a bow, will you? Some people probably don't know you're here yet. Ron DeSantis is dead, everybody. All right. All right, Ron, you've done a good job with the kid. Anyway, I'd like to introduce our next guest, Rich Jenkins. He's with the Eckarts Connects Kids, and I guess he connects kids with foster parents and adoptive parents or whatever. So let's give Rich a large applause. Twisting my tongue. Rich, thank you.
Thank you. I'm very, very happy to be here this evening, and again, thank you for inviting me into your family. It's been over a year since I've been coming to these meetings, and every time I leave here invigorated, not only for our country, but for our kids that are in foster care. And you guys have really, really helped make a difference for those children. We have over 3,000 children in foster care just in Pinellas and Pasco County. I've got that much, actually more than that, over in Hillsborough County as well. So, and these are all of our kids. These are kids on your street, in your neighborhood. They come from all walks of life, and they have all of the same family problems that you have, plus a whole lot more. And our role at Eckerd is to take these kids and protect them first, and then secondly, if at all possible, try to get these kids reunified with their parents or at least to a family member. And then of course, if that doesn't work out, we have an adoptions team who will work to find them a permanent home. So before I wanted to talk about our golf tournament, but before I do that, the other day I was talking to James. He called me to make sure that I was coming, and I told him, of course I was coming, I always come. But we started talking a little bit about this theme of socialism and what we're seeing going on in our country. And I told him, I said, it's funny that we're talking about this, because just the other day I had a conversation with another friend of mine. His daughter had been in Costa Rica. She was riding a four-wheeler, and she ended up wrecking the four-wheeler. She broke a couple of ribs and punctured a lung and broke her clavicle and some other issues, so she was pretty banged up. They take her to a Costa Rican hospital, which is a socialist-run hospital. They have socialist medical system there. For 2 days, she was on a gurney in the hallway with about 30 other people. It wasn't until her father said, I'm getting on a plane and coming down there and I'll be moving you, that she got any real attention. And at that point, it wasn't, we figured out it was about an hour and a half to 2 hours before he got off the plane. They moved her into what they called a private room. That private room actually had 2 other people in it. So he did indeed go down there, and he got her and brought her back here to Florida. She is recuperating quite nicely now. But the point is that this system that they have, it sounds good that, oh, everybody gets health care, but the quality of that health care and the system they have in place is just failing miserably, and it's failing on a very personal level. And so hearing these stories and being able to relate them to others, just like the young lady in the back said a minute ago about talking to people and letting them know it's not just what you see on TV in California. This is very real and needs to be discussed a little, openly, both the positives and the negatives. So anyway, I promised James that I would tell that story this evening. But I do want to get back to our golf tournament real quick. We have our 9th annual golf tournament. James played last year in our golf tournament, so he can tell you a little bit about how much fun it is. We actually hosted over at Innisbrook. It will be on Saturday, April 27th. If there is anybody here who would like to sponsor the golf tournament, please come and see me. I have lots of flyers. If you would like to play in the golf tournament, let me know. This golf tournament, it's an all-day and half of the evening event. It is a ton of fun. You start out with a box lunch, and then we have a shotgun start. We play on both courses at Innisbrook. When everybody is finished playing, we actually have a big awards banquet afterward, and there's a silent auction. It is just a ton of fun. Like I say, it's our 9th annual. I think I've been doing this golf tournament myself for 6 years now, and I encourage you highly, please come participate. Every dime that is generated from this golf tournament goes directly back to our foster kids, and it helps pay for things that the state doesn't fund otherwise. It helps pay for emergency clothing, emergency daycare, toiletries. We get kids that come in, they come into care, they have absolutely nothing. They need a toothbrush, they need toothpaste, they need other clothing. So that's what this golf tournament helps fund. In addition to that, it pays for specialized therapies, equestrian therapies for kids, school trips to Disney. When all of the other 6th graders are all getting on the bus and going to Disney, unless the foster parent is paying for that out of their own funds, that foster child stays back and doesn't get to go to Disney. So we've got in place a system where that foster parent can reach out to us and we'll fund it out of the money that's generated from things like this. So having said that, please, if you want to play golf or if you'd just like to be a sponsor, let me know. I'll be here pretty much most of the evening. Thank you.
In communism firsthand. And what I can tell you personally was that I met a lot of loving people, a lot of great people living in their country trying to make it, but they were being oppressed by the political leaders. And that's what people are going to find out in America if they allow socialism to happen, is these people like Barry Sanders have this utopia message that they send out, and they're going to be the ones in charge living in utopia while the rest of us suffer. So do what you can to stop socialism, please. My main goal tonight is 2 things. First of all, and I say this every time I come up here, please, please, please come out and see us. Now we have on March 2nd, so not this coming Saturday, the following Saturday, we have an open house. Everybody's invited, it's an open house. I have some flyers in the back there. It's Saturday, March 2nd from 11 to 2. If you know McMullen Booth Road, in Safety Harbor, there's a Taco Bell and a Boston Market at Enterprise Road. Go between those two, you can't miss us. We're on the left-hand side. We'll give you a free barbecue lunch. Sheriff Gualtieri will have all these wonderful, really cool SWAT helicopter kind of assets that you can crawl through crawl through the helicopter. And it's funny because a lot of adults are usually taking the spots that the kids are supposed to be able to go to see the stuff, but the adults are there playing with the SWAT machines and stuff. But please come and visit us. Please, please, please come and see us. You guys are wonderful supporters. And one of the things I want to do is invite Penny up, please. Penny is, Penny, she's a huge advocate for us. She's got her Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch Work Study Play Pray shirt on. And I have a small presentation to make to you guys. Every meeting, it seems, we get a check from James, and they add up. And it's my honor to present to the Tampa Bay Trump Club our Builder Coin. This is the first level of awards that we have. It's a real privilege for me to be able to share this with you because what this coin represents, it's a little coin, but what it represents is a lot of children that are being helped. Food, clothing, and shelter for some kids. So give yourselves a round of applause. You guys are doing it for your auctions. The more you spend for a shirt, the more children we can, the more children we can have. The more you bid up those hats, the more children we can help. So thank you all very, very much. So thank you, James. Thank you, Penny.
Thank you, Arvid. And anyway, now what we're going to do, I don't remember if I mentioned, in the back corner, Margot has candy and cookies put together in a bag. And she had made them herself, and they're like little bags of goodies for $5 each. Those go to the kids. She's still got some left. She also has pocket constitutions, and they're $5 each, and all this money goes to the kids. So Margot, back in the corner, waving her arm, she's where you can get those. If you want any Trump 2020 Keep America Great bumper stickers, they're back there, and Anya's back there in the corner with Penny, and they are $10 each for the bumper stickers. And we're going to auction some of the different bumper stickers that are from the 2016 campaign and some others, and a few other things. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take an auction, and then when we take a break, we're going to take like a 10-minute break, and everybody can do whatever they want. But when we do it, try to come up as quickly as you can up to the front, and we're going to try and take a big picture that we can send to the White House, okay? So what we're going to do first is do the auction, and if you need to use the restroom, you can go during this time, or whatever, make it an extra break. But everything you do here, everything that's out here, everything that they're going to offer, every penny is going to go to the kids. And if you want to bid more than anybody else and you haven't got the money, remember we have PayPal at TampaBayTrumpClub@gmail.com, and you can take care of it that way, and Anya will tell you how to do it. And the way it works is George and Andrew are going to run the auction. Anya's going to be the Vanna White, and she's going to run around with things and deliver them to you, and she'll be the one collecting the money. Okay, so anyway, I want to introduce you our master auctioneer and master barber, Andrew Cerisi, who does this for us all year long, and George Colella. He is our master bike president, and he's going to be speaking later about what's going on in Italy and Europe. But here they go.
All right, everybody. All right, you know what it's time for, right? It's time for the auction. George, what is the first thing we're going to auction off over here? We got to raise money for these kids, right? There's the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch.
Yeah, we have build the wall, build the damn wall.
Build the wall.
Build the damn wall. No, build the damn wall.
Build the damn wall. You know, I get yelled at for using this kind of language, and now they put it on the bumper stickers. Everybody tells me I need to be more nice, because otherwise we're looking bad. And I says, how nice can you be? You got to talk this stuff to these people. Build the damn wall. How about $5? Anybody want to go $5 on these things? $5 piece? Come on, $5. Everybody $5. $5. There we go. Come on. We got to reach in our pockets. We don't have alligator
Are you
rights.
afraid to put these on the car? $5 each.
Listen, anybody can have a dent in the car. I know somebody has a dent in their car. This would look perfect on it and cover it up.
And this will guarantee give you a dent in the car.
Bumper stickers, $5. We got $5. Go here, 10. You know what? James, what if we were to sell these for $5 a piece? We got a bid for one for $5, but how about we put these on the table, and for $5 a piece, man, we can put these on our cars and whatever. Does that sound good? But anyway, we got $5. Can you raise your hand again? Who's it? $5? All right, Vanna, where are you? Run one up here. Come here. She's gonna hold her hand up.
Yeah, that's on the collectors here.
You got the American flag in front of her. All right. Here we got something here.
What are we going to do with this?
But right now, we'll let that sit there.
Okay.
All right. Right now, we got here, re-elect Trump. We all agree with this, right? Okay, I guarantee you put these on your front window, people will go by clapping their hands. They're not going to throw rocks at you like you think anymore. I know that, because my wife says my barbershop should have been blown up a year ago, and it still hasn't. But anyway, how can we start to have it? $10. Anybody want to go $10? All right, we got 10, 15, 15. There, 15. 15. How 15? 10, 15. We got $10. All right, you know what? We're going to sell these for $10 a piece too, but we got a $10 one right here. All right, thank you so much. All right, what do we got next year? All right, listen, this is another Trump present 2016. This could be a collector's item. Could be a collector's item. All right, how about $5? We hear $5. Anybody can help out the kids? $5. $5. Come on. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. 5, 5, 5, 5. 250. 250. Here, 250. $2. $2. $2. $2. 5, 5, 5, 10. You know what? We're going to put this on the table. Nobody's raising their hand. Put that in. All right. Now I know.
Here, hold on. We have a special here.
Oh my goodness. What do we got special here? Go ahead.
Yes, I have a special. I have a very dear friend of mine who is a musician. I'm hoping some of you have heard of him. His name is Dave Bray. Has anybody heard of him? Okay, like Karen has, and Captain Matt's had him on his show a few times. He sings a lot of the patriotic stuff. He is a Navy veteran. He's a Navy corpsman with the Marines. And his first album he put together, he does God Bless America in a way that he can do. And the national anthem 2 ways, the a cappella, and then the rock version. He does songs that celebrate firefighters and law enforcement, and he's just a really wonderful person who I had the pleasure of meeting him and his wife and children last year. So if we have any freedom-loving, God-fearing, flag-waving patriots in the house, this would be the CD for you. I had him sign it to the Tampa Bay Trump Club also.
Hey, Sully.
All right, I'll tell you what you need to do, I bet you get a good price for them shoes you got on. Believe me, if I auction these shoes off right now, all the women in here be raising their hand. I'm not joking. Anyway, that's great, and we're going to have them for sale at the back table. Is that what you're doing? We're going to auction it off. Okay, the Dave Brady, USA.
And it's
it all
fine.
rhymes, too. All rhymes. All right, we're going to start this out. How about $10? Everybody with $10? $10. We got $10. All right, do I have 15? 15. 15. Do I hear 15? Come on, $15. Come on, 15. We got 15. 15. Do I hear 20? 20. 20.
Good songs on there.
20. We
Very
got
good
20
songs.
over here. 20. 25. 25. 25. 25. Come on, someone got to raise their hand. 25. 25. How about 27.50? 27.50. Now how about 22? 22. 22, we got 22 over here. Do I hear 25, 25, 25? Come on, $25. We got 25. Do I hear 27, 27, $27? Come on, 27. Anybody got $27? All right, going once, twice, $25. Thank you so much. Oh, what do we got here? Are you playing? I thought I'm the only one who plays the accordion. He's playing it too. Trump 2020, check it out. It changes. Talk in your microphone.
It changes, you see that?
All right, it changes too. Look at this. All right.
Get a bid on this.
And when are we going to start the bid at this? Come on. We got to start the bid here. What? $10. So I hear $10. That means two raising their hand. 10, 10, 10, 15, 15, 15, 15, 20, 20, 20. So I hear 25, 20. We got 20 going. We got 20 in the back. 20? Nobody's saying 20. Come on, you got it. You got new tires on that Corvette. You can get $20 for this, man. All right, 20, 20, 20. I hear 25, 25. Come on, $25. Going once, twice, $20 to the man with the beard and the Corvette in the back.
There we go.
We got you.
Yeah, we have a high here. Build that wall.
Build the wall here. Oh.
Build that wall.
Build that
You
wall.
want my glasses or what? What's the story?
I got mine. I left them over
Wait,
there. It's all right. Build that wall. Okay, this is great. Black, white lettering. I believe in the black plate. You'll see this a mile away. Anyway, do I hear $10? $10. 10. 10. We got 10 in the back. Right here. 15, 15, 15. We got 15 over here. 15, 20, 20.
You got 25 back there.
25 over here. Oh my goodness. 25 over here. 30, 30, 30. Come on, 30, 30, 30. 30, 30. Come on, 30, 30.
I'm stopping at 30. 30. I'll do 30, but I'll stop.
What?
She'll stop at 30.
She's stopping at 30? All right, you're stopping at 30. Do I hear 30, 30, 30? I hear 35, 35, 35. 35, 35. No, going once, going twice. $30 for the lady with the red bow. All right. If anybody else wanted to go another $30, we do have one more of those hats. Anybody want to go $30? I guess we're going to have to wait till the next time. All right, what do we got up next here? All right, we have a collector's item here. A small original shirt from the 2016 campaign for Trump. All right? How's that at? Size small, man. It's a small. Anyway, do I hear $5? $5. Come on, $5. Anybody got $5? $5. Come on, nobody. All right, we got 5 in the corner. 5. Do I hear 10? Come on, $10. Anybody got $10? Reach here. George, come on, help me out here.
I told you, it's $5.
Small. So I hear $10. Come on, $10. Going once, twice, $5 sold in the back. Raise your hand so Vanna can find you. All right. Oh, here we
There you
go.
go, here. Best blend of coffee. Make America great again coffee.
Guaranteed to wake you up in the morning.
This is what Trump drinks.
This is what Trump drinks. This is what our president drinks. You can have it on your table every morning. It smells, the aroma's phenomenal. I've used it once. Anyway, I know coffee is $8.69 a pound for a cheap stuff. We gotta start this at $10, right? All right, $10. We got 10 over here. 10 over here. 15. Come on, 10, 15, 12.50. I hear 12.50. I got 12.50. I hear 15. Do I hear 17? Come on, $17. Do I hear 17? Wake up every morning. We're Donald Trump. Imagine that. There's a week's worth here. Come on, the only thing missing is the blonde hair on the top of the bag. You think they would have had it on there? But anyway, come on. What was we got? 15. Right, do I hear 17? Come on, somebody got 17. We got 17 over here. All right, Vanda's got 17. Do I hear 20? Come on, $20. We got $20, Dimitri. All right, you has to wake up every morning. $20. Do I hear 22? Come on, 22. Do I hear 22? I got 12. Oh, don't scratch your head. I took that as a yes. Anyway, no, I got $20. Do I hear 20, 22? Going once, twice, $20 to my buddy Phil. All right.
Yeah, we have an American First Coalition shirts. All different sizes, you said, right? Sizes and colors.
Well, we do have
they were donated
American
by the
Coalition
American Coalition.
And you buy them all, you'll make the rainbow.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, how about $2.50 a piece on your shirts? Do I hear $2.50? Oh, $2.50. Come on, $2.50. But you can use these for anything. $2.50. All right, $2.50. Do I hear $3? Come on, $3. Come on, $3. I got $3. Do I hear $5? Come on, $5. Come on, someone gonna raise their hand. I gotta scratch their hand. I'm gonna take it for $5. I'm telling you. $5. Come on, $5. What did we have? $3.50. Who had a $3.50 in their hand? I know somebody did. Uh-oh, they backed out. Come on, $3.50. Come on, it'll be perfect.
All different sizes and colors.
What?
They're all different sizes and colors.
They're all different sizes.
No, I'm talking about the shirts.
What about it? They're all different sizes. We got all different sizes, and come on, $4. $4 a piece. All right, we got $4. Hey, look at it, he's gonna use it. Yeah, beautiful. Look good on you. What size you wear? We won't tell anybody. It's all right. Small. Large, extra large, okay. I believe it's in my hands.
Yeah,
what color is your card? It goes blue, isn't it? Don't match perfect. All right, going once, twice, 3 times. Sold to the man again in the corner.
And here's the last item for you now.
Uh-oh, a Make America Great hat, man. Come on.
It's a racist hat.
It's a racist hat. Guaranteed you're a white supremacist if you wear this, but wear it proudly if you are.
It comes with
Again,
bleach.
I shouldn't talk like that. I always get in trouble. People yell at me, tell me I gotta be nicer.
It comes with bleach.
Comes with bleach, yes, okay. We don't know what he's insinuating, do we? Anyway, we're all gonna go home and watch Empire tonight, aren't we? Anyway, Make America Great hat. Let's start it off $15. Come on, man. 15. Oh, 15. Okay, 15 here. Do I hear 20? 15, 50, right? 20. I got 20 over here. 25. I got 25 in the corner. 30. This one's great, man. Believe me.
30, right back
30.
there.
Oh, we got 30 going. All right, do I hear 35. Come on, somebody reaching their passes for the kids, man. They're starving. We gotta help them. They're like these kids at the borders. They need our help. Anyway, come on. We are 30, right? We got 30 going on this thing. 30, right? 30 over here. Where'd I have the 30? 30 in the corner, right? 35, we heard 35, 30. We got 35, we heard 40. Come on, we got 40, we heard 45. Got 45. All right, this is good. Right here, 50-50. Come on, we got a bidding war going on. You got 50. I know you got 50 bucks in your pocket. Come on, 50-50-50. All right, going once, twice to the lady in the corner with the big purse. All right.
We have another one for 45.
We have another one. Look at you. Okay, that's great.
If you want to match the price, 45.
45, look at that. And it does come with the bleach. George wasn't lying. He's got the gallon in the bag. And they say, and you wonder why you get in Facebook jail, huh? I'm still waiting. Where'd Vanna go? She already got one over there. All right.
That's it.
That's it? All right, everybody. I got good news for you. It's break time. We can all go smoke outside. All right. We'll be back in how many minutes? 10 minutes. All right. Enjoy the break.
We've got to build the wall. As simple as that. Build that damn wall.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our break. And I'm going to introduce to you, let's see if I get this right. Andrew Witowiak is an immigrant from Poland, and he has a background in journalism and sports medicine, and he came here in the early 80s. So he's going to tell us what's going on with it. Andrew, you got it.
Thank you. Good evening, and I warn you, I didn't go to school over here, and you may have a problem with my accent. But anyway,
Stop talking.
I prepared some notes that I figured out looking at Trump having a speech in Miami, that he stole some stuff from it, and you guys probably know. Let's start from the subject. It's where socialism is using everywhere right now, but what really it is. Socialism is that's a Latin word, which means equality and justice. It comes even from ancient times when Sparta or Athens they had unending wars, and a lot of those warriors lost their life, and they were helping like kind of welfare to widows and kids and children and schools and so. In modern times, socialism has started to make a ground in 19th century and developed it two Jewish guys, Karl Marx in Germany and Engels in Great Britain. And the funny thing is, Engels was a son of a guy who had a big business, he had a manufacturing business. And Karl Marx never been in factory even. And he came to idea that working class means laborers, they are base for socialism, to dictate the rules. And next was revolution in Russia, Lenin, Stalin, and they pushed further, which came with a lot of victims. Like we have the situation in Venezuela right now when Maduro doesn't let the food from USA to come to the country. The same thing was in 1930s when millions of people in Ukraine lost their life because Stalin blocked distribution of food, and that's nothing new. Socialism is based on two facts. First, the means of production belong to everybody, means to the country, to government. And government has a central planning. How it looks, central planning. I spent 32 years in Poland, which was under socialist rules, but here is very little difference between socialism, which was enforced by a different country, like the Soviet Union after war in Eastern Europe, and some countries like I would say enthusiastic countries like Costa Rica or Canada or even Germany, who press, or right now movement in our country, press to change a system to socialism. Like in Germany, we have a private property, but in fact it's not private because they have a lease for 99 years. If someone has a home, after 99 years, you have to renew the lease, pay some money because the land doesn't belong to him. He's only building, and that's a base. The production, huge manufacturing. Like in Poland, they built a huge steel manufacturers, mining, whatever. Everything was on a grand scale. No private business. Means it was private business in Poland because the guy who was in charge, he was from poor peasant family, and he understood that if they make a collective farming, there would be completely collapse, there would be hunger. And this way somehow was food, but the other means everything is regulated and distributed by country. Everyone over here can have a passport and travel wherever. In a socialistic system, you can have a passport, but the passport is let's say over here, the local police station, right? And whenever you want to go somewhere, you have to fill up application, they check your name, compared to this point system, and so and you can go or not. And mostly you cannot go. That's how it worked over there. And when I work in newspaper, it was basically kind of losing up when Solidarity started. We had a lot of letters from people who place complaints about the traveling passports and so on. And when I took the subject to the paper, they explained that most of denials is based on the fact that people don't pay alimonies, they don't have enough. They don't have enough. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It means to guarantee their return to the country. Redistribution of goods, which means whoever makes more gives it to the common bank or whatever it is, and someone is distributing. That's a utopia, which I give you a picture. It's a huge room, and there's a pile of money over there. There is one guy who is responsible to distribute according to some kind of list. But that guy is in problem too. He needs some money because some kind of trouble. So that's what he does. When he has the opportunity to steal it, he steals it. That thing creates a class which is above and run the whole business. That's a business. One side is theory, the other side is practice. For practice, that's a human nature. Because people try to make it different, but they cannot make different. It's no freedom. It's no private initiative. You cannot have a business that hire the people. You have to fulfill some requirements. And if you start a pizza business, let's say, you need a lot of paperwork to do. And finally, if they give you, it's like they trust you and they count on you, and you feel like you are already halfway on their side. That's ruin a people. What do I have here more? Yeah, a couple more minutes. Government dictates terms of life, like you guys know about the China policy on kids, right? Or religion. They atheists. If you want to practice something, they put you in a re-education camp to teach you what they want. Media. With media, we have a situation which is very similar like in USA right now. Media are a tool of government. We have opposite over here, which means they are media already prepared for socialism. Some countries go enthusiastically to that system, and I don't know if we can stop the movement, but I tell you about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders wants to be a candidate for independence, what is insult for every independent. He's from Vermont, and people in Vermont for years, they try to do the socialistic agenda in life. And what they reach? They reach people run away from the state. And right now I read the story, they pay $10,000 bucks if you want to go to Vermont and settle over there. And explanation is they have a remote area where nobody wants to live and they want to put the people. That's not true, because that's very little state. That's mountains, some valleys. Everything is in the valleys around the roads. That's a basic lie, but system basis on lies. And how, if you remember Churchill, he said the system works very good only with distribution of pain, despair, disaster, and all kind of problems. Okay, all right. I think that's enough for you today. Thank you.
Real simple. Okay? Anyway, I got somebody going to speak to you about his homeland, something that's going on there. We all know George Colella. This guy has volunteered for more people, wrote more funeral escorts for our servicemen than anybody that I know. Give George a welcome, will you please?
So everybody can see me. We all know how we have a constant battle here with the socialism. If you notice that the big mathematical questions, if you get a progressive and a socialist, you lose 25,000 jobs. That's what happened in New York. So it's terrible. So I don't know where she was worried about the $3 billion that they don't have in their hand because they were giving them a tax break. What I'm going to cover is socialism. I'm going to cover globalists, and I'm going to cover about the New World Order. This is all together. All right? The socialism, I have family in Italy, and they're pretty well off. One's a lawyer, another one's a doctor, another one's a biophysicist, and they make about 250,000 euros. Not dollars, but euros, which comes out to about $275,000. The price they make per month, well, if you divide it by 12, it comes out to 20,834 euros a month. The taxes they pay, which is 60% of that, which is 12,500 a month in tax. They take it right off the top before you even get the money. So, and it's like in Italy it's a socialist, capitalist, confused Italians. I think they're smoking tomato plants. Anyway, but they do have free school. They do have free health care. They have free everything. But just for example, fuel, the gas, is $1.95 euros per liter. Okay? There's almost 4 liters into a gallon. It's 3.75. It comes out to almost $10 a gallon for gas. George Buck brought up Venezuela. So for them to go to the bathroom, a roll of toilet paper is $10.95 a roll. This is how bad it's getting. And you got the morons around this country. In fact, Florida, you had 4.5 million people who were trying to vote for socialism. They were giving this thing to Gillum, which is under prosecution besides. And everybody likes how Governor DeSantis is doing. Great job. I have a picture on the page that he's like whispering in my ear, and he told me, watch tomorrow. That's what he said. So I was up in Tallahassee, there was a few people here up at the ball, the inauguration ball. And we saw him there, and then we decided to go to Tallahassee the next day. And guess what? He wasn't in the office. He went right to Mexico Beach to see the amount of damage that was there. And we rode up there, we fed people up there. It's a disaster, it's terrible. But Governor DeSantis has done a phenomenal job. Even the Democrats are so excited. Now, getting back to socialism, the hospital, free medical. CAT scan. Guess what the waiting period for a CAT scan? 3 months. 3 to 4 months. So if you think you got something wrong with you, you're on the waiting list. Heart surgery, same thing, depends on your age. If you go 75, we'll put you on this waiting list. So if you die, you missed the number. The biggest thing that, and this is all combined with the globalist and New World Order. Now, the European Union was started in 1993, and what they did is they took fools of everybody, the 31 countries, and made one currency, which is the euro, right? And this was the start of the New World Order with the globalists. Now what happens is they were trying, like Italy had liras, they changed it to euro. So, and they lost a lot of money on their economy. I spoke to my nephews, believe it or not. They don't like Trump, all right? But the older people, I took a ride to Ron DeSantis' hometown up in Italy. I went up in the mountains where they had earthquakes and stuff. But I did the big sacrifice for my governor. And I spoke to the mayor there, and they're crazy about Trump. The majority of people are unbelievable about Trump. The older generation. The younger ones are, and I told my nephew, he went to China to study, and he came back, and I met him because I was there. He came to visit. And I said to him, I said, why don't you come to America? Because he's heavy in technology, and he turns around, he says, no, I'm going back to China. I said, come to America. I said, Trump's saying that they're stealing all our technology. And that's exactly what he said. That's what Trump says. You know, this is how they're, and even our kids today in school here are getting indoctrinated. They're not getting educated, but Governor DeSantis is changing that. I have an announcement before I forget. Let me put my racist hat on. I can't, yeah. If you want to piss off the liberals, you want to make them cry, there's 10 things I posted, which I think is pretty good. You have 1 is God, 2 is prayer, 3 is President Trump. I was going to make President Trump #1, but that'd be racist, so. 4 is the Pledge of Allegiance, 5, criticize Obama. 6, the Constitution, 7, the American flag, 8, capitalism, 9 is Fox News, but what's his name? Chris Wallace is starting to become a PC. I thought it was only me. I record all of them. Now, the reason why I'm in Facebook jail again is because I'm George Cloller on that side, but I got 9 more days. 9 more days, I think. Right? Yeah. 9 more days. I'm under George Coletti now. But because there was a guy, I don't know if everybody watched the news, there was a guy called Hakeem Jeffries, and he said that on Martin Luther King Day, he made an announcement that there's the Grand Wizard of the KKK in the White House. And he was talking about President Trump. So me, the way I am, I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I said, I typed up, and I put my favorite, I have a picture with a Jihad Welcome Committee with the skull. I have it on my arm here. And 2 AR-15s, of course. So I went to jail. So NATO. Everybody remembers the flight that Trump canceled? Do I got time here? All right. She was on her way to Brussels. You know what's at Brussels? George, what's at Brussels? What headquarters is at Brussels? NATO. She was going to go there.
And bad nose.
Yes, she was going to go there and help. Now everybody knows that there's a coup against the president and all this stuff. You got to pay attention and watch all the systems that are happening. Let me take this out. I got this one here for, remember what Trump said, don't sit yet, go like this. I got that out. Remember when he said that to, when all the Democrats stood up in the White, all right, NATO. And this is what Trump got pissed off about when he went there to talk. United States gives them $686 billion, which is 71%. United Kingdom gives them $55 billion. France, $46 billion, and Germany, $45. Now, and that's what Trump is doing. You have to understand this is all about the globalists and the New World Order, and it goes back as far as Bush, Clinton. I know there's a thing going around that Muslims aren't supposed to be in office, but the law was changed in 1992, I believe, between Clinton and everything else, but that's another story. All right. The other thing I want to say, that child trafficking, this is why they don't want the wall finished, okay? Child trafficking is a $32 billion industry. Is everybody sitting down? I don't see anybody standing up. So, but this is the bulls, this is what they have of the drug cartel. I have a beautiful picture here. I'm sorry. There's a picture here everybody can see. It's on my page too. There's Nancy Pelosi, right? There's Beto O'Rourke in the background. This is what's done in 2016. And there's a congressman from Texas and the president of Mexico. The cartel, the drug cartel, gave the Mexican president $100 million, not the American president, but gave them, the president of Mexico, $100 million. $10 million went to Berto's campaign when he was running against Cruz. That's fact. I have a copy of the letter that Trump sent to Nancy. Too bad. You lost your flight. And this is the picture I put up, Air Force One with a set of blue things on the bottom. I don't want to say the word. But this is what our president has, which is a fighter. And if these morons...
This is why you're in Facebook jail, George. See the things you do here? You're in Facebook jail. I couldn't even bail you out.
Forgive me about my accent, but it's from Brooklyn. So I don't hold back. For some reason, I just can't help myself. Now, these morons that we have, that Nancy made again, that the comment about, well, we'll go through a state of emergency to take everybody's guns away, which I like to see that. There are 21.8 million armed forces veterans in the United States. Over 14 million of them can walk into combat tomorrow. So they ain't gonna do shit. It ain't gonna happen. They'll have a beautiful children. But you have to pay attention to what's going on in the news. There was an admiral, I posted, I didn't bring the pictures in the box, but there was an admiral on 11/17/2016. I got his name on there. And he turned around and whispered into Trump's ear about they were trying to take him down. There were two attempts on Trump's life. They caught a guy in Georgia that he was going to do something in Washington. But there's a lot of information. There's no false flag or nothing like that. This is all true. We have to be very careful and about. You got these people. I mean, there's a guy, George Snow, he was down in Naples just yesterday with the mic on and everything else, and they're protesting about the wall. They have no idea what's going on. You agree with a $36 billion child trafficking? And the United States is the biggest culprit. Not the other countries, the United States. What they do to these kids is unbelievable. There's a movie out on Amazon. It's called Operation something. I can't remember, but I should have wrote it down. But it's amazing. Haiti, right? Clinton helped out Haiti. All the money.
Wasn't that terrible? Terrible.
Ain't happening. They go to these buildings, the schools where they have foster children. They pay them $10,000 to take them out and sell them as slaves and as prostitutes. And they have boats around that there's guys that want to have sex with young children. So it's very important to pay attention what these morons are trying to do to this country. And we have to be, and I hate to talk, they're like Stevie Wonder, these liberals. It's like unbelievable. But like I said, you see what they cause, and they give this girl, I call her AOC. Oh, yeah. It's like a disease, AOC. It's like a sickness.
A lot of people are getting it too, man. 47% of the country, so they got AOC.
Yeah, so we have to be very careful. The most important thing, the elections, the Trump, I was down Barrow County about that woman down here, Spikes. There was a total of 1,400,000 votes in Barrow County. 355,000 were Democrats, registered Democrats, 279 were Republicans, and non-party affiliate, which is an independent, was 385. They were short 300,000 votes. So, okay.
All right, Jake, everybody give George a lot. All the news across the nation, George has got the information, doesn't he? I'll tell you what, he's more important than the people on Fox. Anyway, we got to move along because we're running out of time. They're going to throw us out of here because Antonio's going to sing tonight, I think, again when he's done. Adina here. Adina Marone, I believe. She immigrated here from Romania 20 years ago with her son. My goodness, and how we been doing the last 20 years, Adina? God bless America, huh? All right, here you go.
Hello, everybody. I'm a little emotional, and for so many years growing up back in Romania, I could not speak much, so now I'm gonna scream. I made myself a lot of papers, and I want to see what I'm gonna do and what I'm gonna tell you. But I think I'm not gonna read anything from the paper, and I'm just gonna let my mind and my free spirit talk. I'm gonna start with before my time, and when after the Second World War II, when the the troops were coming back from Germany, and the Russians stopped in Romania and turned it into a communist country. So everything, Romania was before a very flourishing country, a capitalist country. It was called Little Paris. Very shortly after the communists took over, become a scream country, a horror for many people. Everybody had no more properties, no more land was taken away from them, and people were put to work in their own land for like no money at all. Unfortunately, I was born in that kind of a time. I did not have a chance to taste the nicest country before. And I was part of a lot of atrocities along the years. What I want to tell you guys, when communists come in the power, they have two main objectives. They're gonna take over your education system and turn your kids into a small little communism, the communists of the future. And another part is media. They're gonna use the media to brainwash population into believing that whatever they are saying is the truth. They use propaganda to control the masses, and they were telling only exemplary, positive examples about the communists. Communism is awesome, it's great, the president is great. We used to have a dictatorship, and was terrible. People were disappearing from home for no reason at all. they were using neighbors, what they create, the security created them as an informer. They were the best paid. People used to don't have jobs, but those informers, they were making good money. And they were supposed to watch on you as if you didn't know who it is. Your neighbor, your friend, your family could be one informer, and they turn you in for, you'd never know why for. I remember the food, there were tickets. At one point, the food was on the tickets. Every family, every person was receiving half of kilogram flour per person, half a kilogram of sugar per person, half a kilogram of oil per person a month. That's it. If you got from you got to go at the hospital, you will lose those tickets. You lose the tickets. If you don't have some food saved, you will not have anything to eat that month. They were making a lot of restriction of electricity. From 7 o'clock in the evening to in the morning was no electricity at all. And so the water. The minute they took the electricity, the water was gone too. So you have no water, no electric. We use a lot of candles. Kids were studying at the candlelight. Was not minimal medicine at all. Kids were delivered and they were dying because not medicine. There were no jobs. The reason there were no jobs because they wanted so. The Communist Party does not want you to have a job, so you depend on them. And I see here a same thing, and many times I'm afraid to sleep. I'm waking up in the night and I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't want to live this again. And what I'm seeing now in the Democrat Party, it's terrible. And I would like to see that girl, Cortez, and I want to talk to her, to shake her very well. Because she has no clue what she's talking about. Today I can see much better that under this democratic facade charade, it's nothing else but a communist party with a communist indoctrination, communist agenda. And it's going to be very hard to eliminate them after they get into power. So we need to mobilize ourselves and get together. And talk with the kids, our neighbor kids. Everybody needs to understand what the truth is and how they are brainwashed in school to go against the values, what they made entire every country in the world. Every country has a value. They need to not be mixed up. They cannot be all together. They need to remain who they are. Like Italy has their own specific, his own idea, her own history. France has their own history. They need to stay like that. Sovereignty is very important. And for us, United States was the only, not United States, I'm wrong, America. America was the only hope in the entire world and needs to stay like that. Because a lot of people like me, they escape this kind of a horror life, and we don't want to turn into such a horror. And we want to create this country and make it better. For that we stand with Trump and with the Republican Party. And we need to support the wall. I understand some people are against the wall, even if they are Republicans, but I think the wall creates a better barrier, yes, barrier and better security to our nation, because we are now threatened from every direction. So, thank you guys.
Adina, that's a great story. That's a great story. Give her a good round of applause. I understand what she was talking about when she said Italy has their culture and France has their culture for thousands of years. And it's been mixed now. There's no way you can mix these cultures that they're trying to do. But I always wonder, these countries have been around for thousands of years and have their culture. What is the American culture? I mean, do we really know? Well, we know it was the land of the free and the home of the brave and freedom of religion, but what is our culture? We're still creating it, aren't we?
Yes.
All right, and we got to change what's going on now, because if we don't, our culture is shot just like Europe is. All right, we have Zoe. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, yo, come on up. You're in bed, buddy. Let's see if you get a home run.
Hi everyone, my name is Yujo. I live in China. I come to States for my graduate study. I graduated from Carnegie Mellon and I work as a software engineer. I'm the last one to speak, and I know everyone wants to go to home, and I really need to go to the bathroom. So I will keep it short. I will talk about two things tonight. First is the political system in China. Second is the religious persecution in China. Do you know that in China, every president is elected legally? Yes, they are. I will give you an example on how they are elected. Let's say we are going to elect the president of Tampa Club tonight. We have one candidate, James. And James is our only candidate. There's no other candidate allowed by our party on this planet. Okay, let's vote. If you vote for James, please raise your hand. Wow, James, you really need a campaign manager. Hire me, I know all the tricks. I'm from China. I can fix it. So, whoever do not vote for James, you can no longer vote anymore. Because you betray our greatest, almighty leader, James, and you cannot vote. And congratulations, James, you win the election with 100 support rate. No one object you. Is it a joke? It is a joke in US, but this is not a joke in China. This is happening. I will tell you this. Last year, the presidency of China, he is elected with 0 objection. So the Chinese political system is very complex. I'm just trying to simplify it. There is only 3,000 people who can vote for president of China, and last year, all these people voted yes, and no one said no. And 6 years ago, when President Xi is first elected, there is only 1 objection. 3,000 other people vote yes. And last year, they changed the constitution of China. Before that, they have term limits, like 2 terms, 5 years each term. But last year, they changed the constitution. There's only 3 objections. So this is how political system in China works. They have the so-called representative. They are carefully selected, and they do have election. It's very, very manipulated. So next, I will try to explain a term, a very important term in every Chinese political science book. This is called People's Democratic Dictatorship. You may wonder, how could a dictatorship be democratic? I will explain it to you. If you follow the leadership of Communist Party, if you align with Communist Party, you are considered as a people. So as a people, you are given certain rights. You can do something. This is called democratic. But if you do not follow the leadership of Chinese Communist Party, you are considered as an enemy to the people, an enemy to the party. Then the Chinese Communist Party can dictate you. They can deprive you of some rights. This is called dictatorship. Altogether, this is called People's Democratic Dictatorship. I believe this is not only in China, but also in other communism countries. I call it bullshit. But this is happening. This is really happening. So I see some trend in US, and I really think we can turn it. So the last thing I want to talk about is religious repress or persecution. So a lot of people in US thinks the communism is an ideology, but it is more than that in communist country. If you come from communist country, you know that Communist Party thinks communism is their belief. It's something like a religion. So the Communist Party member, they are not allowed to have their own belief. This is written in Chinese Communist Party's the books. So when Chinese Communist Party first took regime in 1949, they started to re-educate, reform the religious group: Christian, Buddhism, Taoism, Confucius. Let's talk about Christian. They want to control people's mind. There is some people from the Christian church, they formed a movement. They call it Patriot Church. The Patriot Church, they follow the leadership of Communist Party, and the founder of that Patriot Church published articles on newspaper claiming that the Communist Party have totally reformed you and re-educated me. And he calls for people, Christian, to go to North Korea to join the Korean War to fight against the evil capitalism and imperialism, American and all the West country. This is very typical propaganda of communism regime. But there is some people, they refuse to do that. The then Shanghai Bishop, Gong Pingmei, he refused to do that. So what happened to him? He was sentenced to prison of life. He stayed in prison for decades. And luckily, on 1988, he was released and he moved to United States. He died on 2000 in Connecticut. He was born on 1901 and he has a very long life of 99 years old. So this gives you a clear example of how democratic dictatorship works. If someone like the founder of Patriot Church, they cooperate with the Chinese Communist Party, they have certain rights, they have certain life. If you refuse to do that, you are considered as an enemy to the people and to the party. So then you may end up in the prison. It's a very clear example. However, I have to say that when the chairman Mao or Mao Zedong died in 1978, things get changed. There is open door policy, you may know, and to summarize it, the Chinese Communist Party abandoned the socialism economic policy and take the capitalist policy. It's called open door policy. They have a lot of term for it, but you see in recent decades the Chinese economy booms. But the political system remains the same. It's still the communism, it's still the dictatorship. So it's a very large topic. It's a very large topic to talk about the open door policy and how things changed in past 3 decades. And I will only focus on the religious repress tonight. So even after open door policy, it doesn't change the nature of communism. They still have this repressed religions stuff going on. They just change their way, their method. They just make it more covered. So, for example, since last year, it is forbidden to buy Bibles online. They can only buy Bibles on certified bookstore. And there is, as you may know, there is a Patriot church. There is underground church who do not follow the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party. As a lot of priests were arrested last year. There was one very good priest whose name is Cao Sanqiang. He was sentenced to prison for 7 years, just last year. And one of my, it's not only Christian, it's one of my friends, Aris. She worked for University of South Florida. Her family believe in a Chinese spiritual qigong. It's called Falun Gong. And Falun Gong has been persecuted since 1999. And her mom was arrested and sentenced to prison for 2 years for the first time and 6 years for the second time. And in prison, these people are called prisoners of conscience. And these prisoners of conscience are treated differently than ordinary prison. For example, my friend's mom, when he was in prison, the prison guard ordered 2 felony who was the drug dealer to watch her and torture her. For example, her mom was forced to sit on a stool, a very small stool. It's not an ordinary stool. Forced to sit on a stool from 6 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. during the night. And he was not allowed to move a little bit. If she moved a little bit, she would be beaten. And she cannot close her eyes. He will also be beaten. And then later on, he was sent to the labor camp where he working from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. to knitting clothes. And because she is a prisoner of conscience, she was forced to work overnight also. So these things still happen in China. But the China communist changed its way, making it more covered. But the economy policy is a totally different stuff. So I will not talk about it tonight. And yes, I think I have talked too much, and it's late in the night. And there is one last thing. Thank you very much. And there is one last thing I want to say is I'm really glad to hear that President Trump said USA will never be a socialist country. Thank you all. And have a good night, everyone.
That was great. Boy, we love hearing from people like you. Unbelievable. Boy, grab the microphone there, yeah. The only thing I didn't like when you were saying about one thing, if we only had one candidate, it was Trump, we'd have him made, wouldn't we? But anyway, we can't do that. And you know, George, you call the Democrats morons and everybody else. They think it's cute when you say it. When I say it, I get in trouble. They tell me I got to be nicer. What's the deal?
We have, everybody remembers Ilhan Omar? Yeah. The one that anti-Semitic, and well, she's going to be speaking at the Hilton Tampa Airport West Shore. And we'll be organizing, it'll be up on the
protest march. I hear it.
All right, now, we can't make it a protest, and we can't make it a thing about anti-Muslim, because the news will take over with the religion and stuff like that. So what it's going to be is to stand with Israel.
Yeah.
And it'll be across the street in the parking lot. It's going to start at 4:30.
We also wear white and blue, I guess, huh?
Yeah, white and blue.
White and blue. It's going to make the hajib go crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll be spinning.
Well, that's what I had to say.
Anyway, listen, before we get this last auction started, Doreen wanted me to mention about a GOP bowling tournament they're going to have. And I believe it is on March the 10th. We got some brochures about it. If you have a bowling team, you want to sign them up. It's for a benefit. I guess you're going to put the money towards something. Too bad it wasn't in my pocket. But anyway, they're going to get this going. We have brochures on it in the back, all right? And we want to thank everybody for coming tonight. We want to have one more last little auction, see if we can raise a couple bucks for the kids.
There you go.
All right.